Just like how a builder uses a hammer, or a knitter might use knitting needles, we also have tools at our disposal. The first tool is a web browser. You already have one of these. You're probably using Microsoft Edge, Google Chrome, or maybe Mozilla Firefox. It doesn't matter which one you use. However, there is one thing to be aware of. Browsers have different quirks. Some of them may render things slightly differently. One of the things that you'll learn to do is to test all of your web pages on different browsers to make sure they look the same, or at least look the way you would expect them to on multiple browsers. That's our first tool, the web browser. Our second tool is a text editor. You can use any text editor you'd like, but I have a recommendation that I think is a really great tool. That tool is called Visual Studio Code. So if you type this into Google, you'll get a link here. You can come to this page. There's a big button. Hit download and walk through the install instructions for your platform. You can also choose Windows or Linux if you're on those platforms. I'm on a Mac, so you see Mac Universal. Once you download this, you can open it here. And this is operating system specific. So if you're on Windows, it'll be a little different, but you'll want to find it in your downloads and you'll want to open it. And then on Mac, we have an application that we can just drag over to applications. On Windows, you have an installer, and to be honest, I have not installed VS Code on Visual Studio Code. Sorry, that's the abbreviation we commonly use for it. I have not installed VS Code on Linux, so I'm not sure what that process looks like, but I know a lot of people use it, so it should be fairly straightforward. Okay, once you have VS Code, you can open it. If you don't have it in your menu bar down here on the Mac, you'll have it under Launchpad. If you don't see it under Launchpad, you can type Visual Studio Code. If you're on Windows, use the search menu of your Windows 10 or Windows 11 desktop and launch it. You should see a screen like this. Yours might be white, and that's just a theme. If you prefer to work in a white color theme, you can hit Command-Shift-P on Mac or Control-Shift-P on Windows and type color theme and then hit enter. From here, you can browse a bunch of different color themes to meet your needs. I have several installed, so I have a lot of options. By default, you will only have a couple options available to you. A couple high contrast, a couple normal contrast, and a couple light and a couple dark. So pick one that works well for you. This is a fun little activity of customizing your editor, but really for the sake of us building a web page, it doesn't matter what theme you use. So I'm just going to stick with the theme that I have, as I think it's fairly visible for YouTube. Okay, now that we're here, we're going to talk about our website. So to do this, we need to make a folder. I'll show you two different ways to do this. I'm just going to make a folder on my desktop because that's the simplest way. So if I'm on a Mac, I can right-click here. So I've clicked onto my desktop in Finder. I right-click an empty area and hit New Folder. Now I can give it a folder name, like Web Project. And now you can see Web Project is here. I'm going to delete this folder and show you one more way to do this. This is through a terminal. A terminal is a very powerful tool. You won't need to use it, but you can if you'd like. And a terminal allows you to execute text commands that do things to your computer. So in our case, if I go to my desktop using the change directory command, I can now type make dir web project. And this will make a new directory called web project. ls is a list command, and you can see here we have a web project. Either of these ways work. If you're on Windows, make a new folder on your desktop through Explorer. And if you're on Linux, use whatever tools you have available to make a new folder on your desktop. If you're using Linux, I would assume you're fairly comfortable with your computer enough to do that. Okay, now that we've made our new folder through any of those ways, we want to click Open. Now that we're here, we'll click on Desktop, We'll click Web Project, and then we'll hit Open. Your screen doesn't look like it's changed much, but you can see here in the top left we have a section titled Web Project. This is our project. Now that we have everything set up to get started, we'll take a quick break with this video, and in the next video we'll start talking about HTML.